this product is good. This is a 7. And again, that's what AMW scope is there for. But you know what? A lot of these products are blue and are like 5, 6, 7 out of 10. So this is something worth looking into. You could easily be doing 100,000 a month if you're on these 3, 4 listings, like even on these 10 listings.
Finding good products and brands to go after isn't hard, and then finding good suppliers for those products isn't rocket science. Of course, it takes a strategic approach to finding good products, and that's exactly what I do here in this video with my students, that I want to show you how I actually go about finding good brands to go after and then ultimately finding a good source for it. Let's get into it.
I would go to brands, and I would also actually initially check which marketplace. If you're looking at US, if you're looking at Canada, Canada. But let's just say for the US, I hit brands, and then I'm going to hit global. Okay, and again, this is like for me to understand the landscape of these global knives. I want to see, are there more knives, other SKUs, ASINs, that are also good AMW scope scores. Okay. Let's see here. So this is what I'm looking at: global kitchen and dining chef knives. Okay. I'm just going to hover over to the right a bit. I can see Amazon is 0% in stock with them, so that's really good. Average number of sellers is 1.1, which is low because that kind of shows us private label numbers. 643,000 a month. That's good. That's between like all their listings. So let's click this and hit products. And it will load all of the products that they have listed on Amazon under the brand global. And again, when you have AMW scope downloaded, it will overlay this score on top of SmartScout. So this is like a feature that we designed. And so this allows us to quickly see, even if Amazon is on the listings, it will tell us if Amazon is dominating the buy box or not, because that's what we care about more. And then also like number of sellers, 18, 4, 14, 1, 2, 11. So these are all good because it
I want
shows
to say
us.
one thing
Yeah,
I've noticed about SmartScout is that the numbers aren't accurate at all times. Like, see if
like
it's
the revenue and stuff.
yeah, like if it says 121K, if you go onto Amazon like scope, it's like you're saying 8K right there. So
Yeah. So this is revenue per seller,
per seller, yeah.
the 8K.
But even
I
like if you
think,
looked at the thing, it was 88K is what shown on
yeah, you're
Amazon
right.
scope.
You're
So
right. No,
that's the one thing
100%.
I've
You're right.
noticed about that. Yeah.
I've noticed that as well, actually. I've actually reached out to their support, and they just say that, like, that this is the best they can do. Some ASINs are a little outdated based on like them caching the data, and then in other cases it's a little more accurate. But I agree, it's not perfect. And again, that's what AMW scope is there for, to just give us that second live look, because it checks right away, right? And that's why this is a 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Because if it was 121, maybe it would have a higher score,
So
right?
with SmartScout, they're not using active data, meaning like they're not really pulling straight from the actual listing. It's more like a, I guess like a cached or like a stored database where they
Yeah,
pull from.
I would say it's a mix, but we don't know what's fresh and what's not. But absolutely, like this could be from like 3 weeks ago. This could be from 2 weeks ago when someone else searched it for the first time, right? It's really expensive for tools to pull up fresh data all the time,
I see. Okay,
right?
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So bigger tools like SmartScout, where they have like thousands of users, they usually resort to like some sort of cache database. But let's see. I think, yeah, like even looking here, Like, I wonder when it was at 121,000. Like, maybe it was at 121,000, like when the ranking was down at like 5,000, but now the ranking is up at like 16,000. So, and another thing to note, actually, is that most of these models, like let's say even Jungle Scout and Viral Launch, they estimate revenue based on the ranking. Like, it's a model that it's like we estimate monthly units sold based on the ranking of a product. All right, it's like a graph model, and based on the category, they look at the ranking and then they estimate the monthly units sold, and then they just multiply that monthly units sold by the buy box price to give you this monthly revenue. But what we do is we take the number that Amazon gives us, like this 1K plus bought in the past month, and we put that here, and then we multiply that by the buy box price.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so like this is like way more economical. This is way more like it has to be 88,000 a month per revenue because that's what Amazon is telling us.
Right.
But 1K plus could actually mean 1,300, maybe 1,400, and so maybe, you know what I mean, like you kind of want to
Okay,
average it out. Like this actually could be true,
uh-huh.
right? Because 1K plus, like it's not going to tell us 1.2K plus. I think it'll only switch if it says 2K plus. So this actually could be right. Just 200 units extra, but again, we take the more conservative, the more the data that Amazon actually gives us. I think it's more trustworthy. So, okay, so this right here, this product is good. This is a 7, so I'm gonna want to pull that open as well. I just kind of look through them, but look, like again, this is to just give us a little bit of just like an idea that these products are good or not good. Are there more SKUs that we can look at or no? And again, that's what AMW Scope is there for, to give us a quick idea that, oh, you know what? A lot of these products are blue and are like 5, 6, 7 out of 10. So this is something worth looking into, right? Like I can see more 6s here. A couple of them are 1s. I would maybe pull up one of the 1s to see why it's a 1. And like we're just trying to analyze to see if there are multiple SKUs that we could be interested in. Okay. I think in the next couple updates, we'll be able to hover over this and just get a better idea of these metrics. Because right now we're getting like very small pieces, and it doesn't really help me. Like I like to see the full screen version, but I want to make that available in the preview there. Let's so this one was a
I kind of
7.
have a question, basically about SmartScout. I was gonna say, like, could you go through how do we pick out a brand? For example, like we kind of found this brand from Amazon, but like if you're using just SmartScout to find like certain brands that fit the criteria, how would we go like searching for those brands or products through just SmartScout, nothing else?
By looking for profitable brands, or do you have brands in
Yeah,
mind?
no, just like say like you don't have anything in mind, you just kind of just going through the brands. How
Gotcha.
are you able to find a profitable brand that you think that would work on Amazon?
Yeah. So with that, it's simply just going back to brand here. So like we already have this tab open. So these are like literally all the brands in Amazon.com, right? What we want to do here is we simply just filter. So if I hit filter, I can get rid of global names here, global brand name. If you have a category in mind, it would just help a little, like to make your search smaller. Otherwise, you could literally just put average selling price, right? Like for me personally, I like 15 as my minimum, and let's just say I'll put 50 as my max. Okay. And I'm trying to make the list as small as possible here because the list is going to be big no matter what. Like, and this is how you'll realize how much opportunity there is on Amazon, because what we're about to see is like the perfect low hanging fruit of the products that we want. And honestly, like, this is a great way to just like focus on a couple brands and just go and find a supplier or even a mom and pop shop for. Okay. So let's say total number of reviews, doesn't really matter. Average review rating, so minimum 4. Amazon and stock rating, so I want minimum 0 and I can even put maximum 10. Okay, again, this is the lowest hanging fruit. Once we do this search and let's say we don't find something, we can go like same thing, but just do 10 to 20, right? Or even put 10 to 30 and just like open up the searches. But that would be like, let's say like class B type product. Right now, 0 to 10 is like the best of the best. Monthly revenue doesn't matter because it's going to sort from highest to lowest. Total product count doesn't matter. Brand score doesn't matter. Average number of sellers, let's just say minimum 4. Maximum even, let's just put 10. And then that's it, right? Like, I could play around with this number of FBA sellers. This one could be interesting. I could put like even, I could put 1 and I could put 3, right? Let's see again. This is like the best of the best, right? Like, we want maybe 4 to 10 sellers, but let's just say we want listings that have low FBA sellers that give us opportunity to become better sellers and then kind of like take over the listings. So boom, okay. If I wanted to save this filter, I would, right? I would just be like, save it. I would just be like 15 to 50, 0 to 10 Amazon, 0 to 10% Amazon, and then 4 to 10 sellers, 3 max FBA, right? Something like that, just so you remember exactly what you put. So let's save that and then hit search. And then down here, you'll be able to see how many brands it'll pull up. Look at that, 6,200 brands that fit that
Criteria.
criteria. Yeah, right. I mean, again, this is how you realize how big of an opportunity the products still are. And these are millions. Look at this, like millions per month, right? And then we have like hundreds of thousands in the month. So let's look at a brand together. Let's look at, I don't know, Country Life, right? There was obviously a couple brands here that potentially don't make sense. Like, I don't know, like Rockstar Games, like it's gonna be tough to find maybe a distributor to sell you this. 2K Games, same thing. Um, even the bigger brands up here in the millions, like these raw SIGs. I found a supplier in Canada actually who could sell me this, but the prices weren't right. So, there's definitely lots of opportunity here, but you still have to go through them to see what makes sense and what doesn't. But like Country Life, right? Like a big supplement brand. But we can see here that Amazon doesn't stock it. Number of sellers are healthy. And look, like you can clearly see AMW Scope loves it as well, right? Because we did all the heavy lifting for AMW Scope. We only found the good brands. Now we're just looking for the best listings within that brand, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
this is definitely like, this is something I was gonna start to like get into maybe in the next few
Oh, okay. All right.
calls, but no, it's okay. It's good. This is definitely like the approach that we want to take when we want to hone in on a category or on a even a brand that we want to reach out to.
Right. Because I mean, I've been using it the same way. for the most part, what I've seen is like you'll find a certain brand product, and then it kind of becomes hard to find a like a distributor for that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I guess price point doesn't add up and things like that. Or the logistics might be an issue of some sorts. But the main
Yeah.
thing I've seen is like it's very hard to find like a distributor for a certain type of product or brand. Uh, so even though the listing might be like really good, like for example, like
Mm-hmm.
I try to find brand in a supplement niche, but finding a supplier for that's kind of hard because I don't know if it's due to like licensing or if it's just other things. Personally, like what I've seen is like for me it was prices. Like the prices just didn't work
Yeah.
just because the profit margin was just non-existent. Like
Yeah.
like I basically like losing it'd be like negative like I guess 10%, like where I'd basically be losing money if I were to ship it to FBA and cost and everything.
Okay. Was this from a distributor in Canada?
Yeah,
Okay. And do you know if they were a middleman or if they were pretty like close to the supplier or manufacturer?
that I couldn't find out. Like because they gave me their um basically their prices
Yeah.
for their products. But they didn't give me any information on, if they're the middleman or anything like that. So
Yeah.
that's the one thing I couldn't get through to them on.
Did
But just,
you,
uh,
sorry to cut you off, but like, did you ever speak to them to see if you can get a better price?
no, I did not. They
Okay.
basically, I made an account. They sent me their listing, um, and then I asked for their, like, what's the word? Like basically their certification just said they're authorized to sell it, but they never showed me that.
Mm,
So I was kind of iffy of that because I'm like, if they're not willing to um,
yeah.
show me, because like you said, like to avoid Section 3 and everything, it's better to
Yeah.
have somebody who is not afraid to show you their authorized seller badge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard because sometimes, they might not be completely authorized directly from the source, or they might not even know what you're talking about, but they are buying from a legit source and
Hmm.
they just can't give out their source. Like one of my
Right.
suppliers is like that as well. You know, I told them like, look, your invoices were helping me ungate, but then now they're not. Now I realized for a couple of like newer brands that I'm trying to ungate for, Amazon has asked me, hey, we need your supplier's supplier
Hmm.
information. And, I asked them for that. I didn't really expect much, but I was like, look, I'll sign an NDA. Um, this is going to help us double what I'm ordering from you. It just gives us a vote of confidence. And, they're still not down for it.
Right.
So,
So how do you like work around that? I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like
yeah,
if something happens, how do you go about, talk to a supplier about like this isn't really for me, it's more or less sort of to do with Amazon and trying to uh I guess have a legit paper trail so that
yeah,
Amazon doesn't screw you over or the supplier over.
yeah, I know. Look, it's tough in today's day of age to know if you're doing everything 100% right. But I can say from my experience that if the supplier is showing up at trade shows, if they have a website, if they have a good online presence on Google, then most likely you're okay, And that's the biggest thing is that they need to have contact information, a website, and they need to just like issue you proper invoices. Like all of this stuff matters. I would say that is like the 80%. And you need to
Hmm.
have that and just kind of trust the process and move forward like that. When I had my Section 3, like 2, 3 months ago, actually, um, they didn't ask me for this supplier that I'm talking about. They didn't ask
Hmm.
for their supplier's invoice. Like just saw the invoice, we're like, okay, cool. Now for ungating, they're like, okay, no, we need the supplier's invoice. So, that kind of gets me a little scared as well because I'm like, if I get another Section 3, like I wonder, are they going to ask me for the supplier's invoice for this supplier. But I'm not letting that stop me.
Mhm.
You know, like
So
I'm not letting that keep me
my
from
thing
buying
is
from them.
like you said, you would have to like you're already ungated for a certain product and then to re-ungate. Do you know why that happens? Or is it
So
just
this
random?
wasn't for re-ungating. This is just for like other products, and then all of a
Oh,
sudden
and
now
okay,
they're just like
right.
checking more in depthly.
Uh-huh.
But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like sometimes, you know, especially with brands in the US now, like I saw a couple brands like, you know, Nike, Adidas, even Vaseline. Some of these products, you know, there's just too many people are buying it from overseas and bringing it into the US. So, you know, it's just if there's too much, if there are too many resellers like selling random things and like all these products are like one's from India, one's from Europe, one's from South America, and they're just like selling it in the US market, Amazon will naturally crack down on that, right? We want to go after more of the brands that people aren't really looking at, right? And that's why,
Right.
like, I think when we look at brands that are doing between like 100,000 and 300,000, that's like a good Goldilocks zone, because not a lot of sellers are looking at, like, it's not sexy to look at those brands and those products, right? Like
I mean, yeah,
Kavalani.
I've been told that it's like you want to go for like, the ones that are like not too appealing, like meaning like
Yeah,
it's not like hi-fi. It's like same thing in the tech world. Like everybody wants to go work for the like the biggest,
yeah,
flashiest companies, but there's a lot of companies that are willing to hire you for a better, hourly or salary, but nobody looks
yeah,
at that. I guess it's the same
100%.
concept in Amazon as well.
100%. I mean, it's the same concept in any business, right? Like you wanna just pay attention to where most people aren't looking,
Hmm.
right? And like yeah, like look at this as an example. Like what are these random ass vintage puzzles? Like you think Amazon is looking at these products and sending out section threes? Like probably not, right? And if you are on these top 5 or 6 ASINs,
Hmm.
like you're crushing it. You know, like you could easily be doing 100,000 a month if you're on these 3, 4 listings. Like even on these 10 listings, you could be doing 100,000 a month, no problem. Right? So like the
Right.
opportunity is crazy. Like look, the Amazon stock raised low. All the FBA, AMW scope scores are above 6. Um, you know, I would spend like 2 weeks, 3 weeks trying my best to find a supplier for this. I would figure out who owns this brand. I would try to figure out if they're going to be at a trade show. I would fly out to the trade show. I would like do anything I can to make sure that I can get like a shot at
Selling it.
selling this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, right. Because yeah, one brand like this can change your whole business.
Right.
Hmm.
All right. I mean, I guess yeah, for the next week and a half. So that's basically what I'm gonna be doing.
Good. Yeah, exactly. Like go through do this exact same thing. Obviously, like this is wholesale, right? And I wanted to maybe do this strategy maybe a week or 2 weeks down the line. But for anyone who has OA leads, like still use the OA leads to get better at analyzing and placing a couple orders. But I agree, like this is where the meat is, right? Like this is how again your business can change in a couple months, like completely by looking for these brands with SmartScout and then just going really, really hard on trying to find a supplier for it. And we can do like a case study like this. We could bring this back up. Not this brand, but we could do another brand that's, you know, hundreds, to try to find a supplier, for like I guess next Sunday when we meet up. But
Right.
I definitely want everyone to still like pull up OA leads and go through the products and place a couple orders there just to get some money and some business in their account.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna ask another thing. It's like if I want to get ungated, like how do you like I remember in one of the group chats you mentioned you can just to ungate you can just kind of type in the name and just try to get ungated automatically. Like like, do you know how that works exactly, or is it just like kind of like luck based? Like, not everybody would be ungated for a certain type of product, or is it like everybody's like
with the
ungated for
auto
like,
ungates.
yeah? Is that
So
kind of
yeah,
just like luck
in
based?
the it's I don't know if it's luck or if it's just like, everyone has different like histories with their Amazon account. Like some of you guys have sold stuff, some of you guys haven't. Some of you might have had an Amazon account for like a few months but never sold anything. It's more based on like what your account is and maybe even like where you personally are based. If you're in the US and you're trying to sell in the US, some products are going to be ungated and some aren't, and vice versa. So it's very like case based. But the list that we have in the ungating mini course is a list of 1,200 ASINs that are just known to be easier to ungate. And what we're looking for is like when we enter in these ASINs, we want to hit request approval. And then when we hit request approval, we can sometimes get a questionnaire, which is just a multiple choice questionnaire. And if you hit like all of the above on all of them, you get automatically approved and boom, you're ungated. And then there are in some cases less rare for fresh accounts where you just hit request approval and it'll say, based on your previous performance, we've allowed you to just sell this. Right. So these are two auto ungate cases where you need to still put in those ASINs and request approval to get ungated, but it can be
Okay,
automatic technically.
I see. Okay, okay,
So
okay.
yeah, the idea there is to just like enter in all those ASINs, and I think there's a way now um to like enter
Do
in a
multiple?
bulk. Yeah, yeah. Let me see here. Like if you go to your seller account and hit add products, um, let's see here. It does say spreadsheet, but I don't think this was it when I was looking before. Um, so yeah, you could like download a blank template spreadsheet. Um, okay, yeah. Let me just share my screen real quick here. So I went to list your products, and then instead of like search here, I hit this template thing, and then I hit or what did I hit? I hit this spreadsheet thing, right? And then I hit download blank template, and then this one here, I think. List products that are already in Amazon's catalog, get listing loader, right? So you can click that, and then let's see. Okay, yeah. So you click that, and you'll just see this.
Yeah, that's what I
So you
saw.
can literally just put all of the ASINs from that list in here.
Now then generate a spreadsheet for you.
Yeah, yeah, and then you can upload the file, and then it'll bring up all of the ASINs, and you can just like hit Control or Command, request approval, and then see which ones give you those questionnaires and whatnot, and just like rip through them, right?
Okay, I might try that with the ASINs that were listed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So do that, and that's definitely like a way for you guys to just mature the account a little bit. I've heard from some people that, yeah, like they've got ungated for like 20, 30 products, some people just a few. So it really does depend on each seller account. But I think it's a good first step just to see what brands you're already ungated for as well. Again, I like to follow open doors. So if I see that I'm ungated for certain brands, then I will shortlist those brands as well and do the same thing. Take those brand names and put them into SmartScout and see what brands that you're already ungated for are performing well, right? So same analysis. It's just we're looking for open doors. We're looking for less friction. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, let me pull up just one more example here from last time that we spoke, and then we can call it. Let's see here. So this is one of the products that I remember from last time someone put in the chat. I can see with AMW Scope, it's already giving us a 1 out of 10. Let's see why. So it's dominated by Amazon, right? Amazon has won 100% of the last 30 days of the buy box. But in the last 6 months, it was 90%. In the last year, it was 80%. So there is room for people to come in. It's just depending on like what it is, right? Like how are people winning the buy box? So let's see, like in the last year. Okay, yeah, Amazon just kind of wasn't even on the listings. But now that Amazon is on the listing, you can see that they are dominating. So, definitely want to stay away from this, especially because there are like 24 other sellers on the listing right now, right? And still, Amazon has never shared the buy box, so it's not a good look. Okay, so that's no bueno.
I mean, I'm the one. I was selling this product. I sold a
Oh,
few.
okay.
When I sold it, it was Amazon wasn't like it was there, but it wasn't like dominating. And I guess like yeah, in the last like couple of months, that's why I kind of stopped selling it because it just Amazon just took over it completely to where basically inventory was kind of just wasted.
Interesting. So you were selling probably before the 30 days here.
Yeah, I was selling them around the um like the I think August September area.
Okay, yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, that was a great time to be here at this product, selling it. But the buy box was not really on, right?
No.
Yeah, you can see that. Interesting. So yeah, I would say that would be my biggest red flag is the fact that the buy box was kind of inactive for too long, right? Like the buy
Hmm.
box in this case, like you got to tell a story as well, right? I talk about that in the master class. Like right now, the buy box is chasing Amazon. It's only like looking at Amazon, and then it'll only be on when Amazon is on. In this case, it's kind of the same, right? Like you can see here, like the pink line here,
Hmm.
there is no even pink line. Like even when
Yeah, they don't
Amazon
see
was
it.
on the
Yeah.
listing, like it was just kind of like broken, seems like. So, that's also a case scenario. The buy box could be broken to some degree, but you can see here now it's chasing Amazon. Flags for me because and it's a matter of the lowest box was, and then look at the green because the buy box turned off because people get confused. People scan the product pages, they don't see the buy box, and they're like, "Huh, I guess this is out of stock." So, but still, again, like this is all part of the analysis, right? A product that does 7,000 units per month right now at the ranking of 1,200. When it was at the ranking of 16,000, it was still probably doing 800 units a month.
Yeah, it
When you
was
were
yeah, it was
selling,
still like I mean I think it was like around I think 1,000 or so being sold.
right,
And it was around like I think 26-30,000 in revenue monthly. So like
right,
in terms of like an OA product, like quote unquote, like it was
right.
pretty solid.
There you go. Yeah. It's all like dependent on the opportunity. 800 units sold per month. If you had the margin to be the lowest price, then why not? I
Yeah.
would still do it as well. It's just when I say lowest price is that when the buy box is off, the only way the consumer sees your product versus everyone else's offerings is by lowest to highest in pricing. So the consumer will always pick like the
The
lowest
lowest product
price,
price, yeah.
right? So you want to be that person. So yeah, okay. Good examples and good little analysis on SmartScout there. So let's just leave it for this week to get back in shape with the OA leads. Go over the OA leads, do this analysis, put in a couple more orders, and then come next Sunday, we can start to get into more mom and pop and wholesale, but very similar to what we just did with SmartScout. I want to analyze more brands and just kind of like figure out, okay, maybe we can find a trade show that some of these brands are going to, or even suppliers within our supplier lists, as well as the suppliers list on SmartScout. We can just kind of do a full case study of going from finding a good brand to finding some contacts we can call. Okay. And with that being said, I'm also going to be grabbing some opportunities for my own suppliers, something that we can all kind of go in on, hopefully. I'm going to see what product deals they have, and then we can also check then who's ungated for what and who's not, and go from there. Okay, because I want to go on like I kind of want to get you guys to start selling some products, maybe even from my supplier. Maybe we can get a good deal by buying a bunch of something.
There you have it. Hope that was helpful. Go check out part 1 in the description if you haven't seen that yet. This is a 45-minute coaching call. I just want to make sure that you see all of it. But you're probably wondering, how do I actually go about finding good suppliers? Now here's a hack that I want to share with you. Partnering up with local stores to be able to use their suppliers because they already have suppliers. I talk about that exact method in this video. Go check it out because it's going to blow your mind.